Well, it's March 7th, I believe, today, and my buddy Matt here and I were out on my new farm up in Indian Creek. This is Polk County, Wisconsin. We're going to do a little shed hunt today, and what a beautiful day it is. Gosh, it must be 55 degrees, and the snowpack is still pretty deep, but we're going to see if we can find some sheds, and so come along for the walk, and we'll see if we can find some. This area here is actually a good spot for a food plot. You can see how this is open here, and this is kind of a wraps around. It's about 100 yards long, comes through here, and then heads down here to a little turnaround. You can see how he's got it cleared out. This is a literal jungle in here in the summer. And this brush here grows up thick and tall, and I think it's a little rocky. It tends to be a little wetter in here, so this is more than likely a no-till opportunity. I'm just going to use Roundup herbicides. We'll clear this off, and I'll spray this a couple times. We'll see how it looks after that, after we take some of the ground cover off. It might actually dry out, and then I'm thinking this is going to be a perennial clover chicory plot, so that's the plan here. So our strategy for the shed hunt is to focus on the areas we think they're going to be bedding, and we're working these pines. Under each one of these pine trees is a bare spot, and there's a lot of trails that have been working their way in here. And those bare spots mean that the ground is slightly warmer there. So that's been the tactic of the day. We shall see if it works out. Matt zeroed in on a rub over here. What'd you find, Matt? Oh yeah. Get down there for some scale. Matt is that's a deer hound. He knows how to find some pretty good.
Shoot spikes.
There you go. That's pretty good. It's about a 4-inch rub, and it's right on my fence line. So let's keep looking. You know, it's fun to get out here for these shed hunts, but it's also good to allow you to assess a property for stuff like this, timber value or huntability. Now these are white oak, I believe. I got quite a few of them, and they're all about 20 inches in diameter. These are good saw logs, not that I want to cut any of them, but there's a number of them back in here, and what I'm excited about, I have a lot of tree stand choices. So from a sales perspective, if you're looking for a property, this is a great time to get out here just to see what you got. You can see the movement of these deer, you can see the trails. I'm mentally taking an inventory of where I'm going to put a tree stand. When I fly my drone over the top, as you've seen in other videos, you can see the trails. You can see how these deer are moving. So I'm just kind of mentally taking an inventory of what I got here. But this is, shed hunting is great for a lot of things, and you wouldn't think about from a resale or sell standpoint, but that's how I look at this. I know what I've got, and this is rare to see nice trees. Like, it's just a great combination. So I've entered an area in the northwest corner of Indian Creek, and this is an area that Joe Bartilla earmarked for a timber stand hinge cut project. And it's a great area. I totally agree with him that he picked this spot, because a lot of these trees are in this size range. They're ironwood, there's junk trees. Easy to take these down, and you can see probably 40-50 yards through here. That's perfect hinge cutting area. They're going to want to be in here if we thicken this up, and we're finding beds everywhere, so I'm not going to try to force them to be something they don't already want to be. They're already here, so we're going to be back in here doing some chainsaw work after we get this assessment done. Man, there's trails everywhere in here. Look at this trail right here. Heading right there, everywhere, crisscross through here. We're heading back into a thick conifer area. You can see how much less snow there is in there. Got to be bedding. There's just trails everywhere. One here. One takes off back that way. And they all converge down in here. Grouse right up there. multi-species here on Krause Creek. And that was pretty cool. Did I say Krause Creek? That's my last farm. I'm at Indian Creek Ranch. So I am right on the edge of my property here in a really thick area. There's actually a food plot, or will be, right over there. You can kind of see the edges. And these deer are sticking to the inside. There's trails everywhere all throughout here. So the corner of these conifers behind me might be a great stand site. I'm gonna make a mental mark of that. They're definitely deer hugging the inside. The bucks are gonna definitely be hugging the inside of this wood line. Probably just scent checking this future food plot over there and never exposing themselves. So mental note. Now, before I came to this spot, I thought this was going to be a place I need to check out. And sure enough, this looks really good. So I'm at a corner here. There's a field here up front here that's going to be put into a food plot. Over here, I got a Tam Rack Swamp. I got a military crest ridge that comes off, and then there's just trails all through this area. There's multiple trails. They're all converging right here. So lots of good tree stand trees. I just got to pick the right one, and a great approach and a great exit, which is really important. You got to figure that out. You got to figure out how you're going to get in there and how you're going to get out of there and which way they're going to go. So north is behind me, south is in front of me. So I'm thinking maybe on a northwest wind, my scent is blowing right out of this corner, out into that field. A good cruising spot, and it looks like they're crossing that Tamarack Swamp and they're following the edge of this big field. And I know that as well because I confirmed it with my video on my drone. So this is a really heavy traveled route with an easy access. The only negative about this spot is that in order to get here, I'm gonna have to come to that entire open field. But if I maybe stay in the center and I minimize my impact, I might be able to get in here pretty easy and get up into one of these stand sites here. This looks like a good spot, doesn't it? One feature of Indian Creek that I really liked are all these little trap rock hills. There's trails that the owner had cut all the way through here, so they're real easy to get to. And these little trap rock hills makes for some great visibility in the woods. And I just kind of anticipate putting a ladder stand or maybe a box blind up on top here, because it just gives me just enough elevation to watch this edge here, this inside edge. That's the Tamarack Swamp down there in the corner of the field. So I kind of like this area, and there's trails everywhere in here. And what I anticipate is these bucks are going to be traveling along the edge of this field and just staying inside the wood line. So I should be able to sneak in here really quietly on one of the existing trails.
Your place is right there, so you could just sneak right
Easy
here.
access.
Undisturb everything.
There's a whole ridge right here that's trap rock. Yeah, you could easily pop in from the top, set up a blind here, and just you'd have all that. Great rifle spot. This is gonna be good. One great feature of Indian Creek is that it's got a lot of diversity, and anytime you are on a property that you can find that diversity, that creates a lot of edge, and the edge is where the deer want to be. We call those biomes, and it's just basically a terrain change, because you can see I'm leaving the timber. Now I'm coming out into this brushy inside corner. So this is going to be a big field here. This will be brassicas, corn, soybean, whatever, maybe clover along the edge, but this could be a destination food plot for sure. But the inside corner right here, really brushy, really thick, and then it gets into hardwood back down that way and those rocky outcroppings that I showed. So the aerial videos of this show this inside corner right here. These deer are coming around the edge and they're moving into the next block of timber. So these edges, this diversity, this is value to me. This creates more value in the eyes of a buyer, and definitely as a habitat manager, this is what you're looking for. Here's a nice looking rub, rather tall too, and it's right on the edge of the food plot that'll be up here. So this buck is following this edge. It's a wetland. This is going to be a sanctuary down here, so this is something to remember, but probably working this brow tines here, maybe up here. Sometimes I look for little tick marks. You can start to get a gauge of the width of these bucks, but in this sense, I don't see a lot of other sign. But yeah, nice little rub. I'll love to see it. So I've entered into yet another biome within Indian Creek, and this is a Tamarack Swamp. And these are deciduous pine, I'm gonna call them. They lose their needles, and pine don't normally lose their needles like this white pine here. You can see is still green, but the Tamarack, there's no needles up there. So this is kind of a cool feature. This is wetland, and what you need to know about this is that when you're in a property and you find wetland, these are protected. The DNR is very sensitive about this, and so you want to be careful about what you do in disturbing these pieces of your property, because they do not take kindly to it. Normally, you're going to sign a wetland disclosure form when you work with me, and you're going to know that there's wetland on the property. So they're sensitive areas, be aware of them, but they're great habitat. And this is what the deer like. They'll be rubbing here. There's rubs up and down in here. I haven't seen it yet in this area, but I know they're here. So biomes, again, key feature of properties. And as I suspected, I just mentioned this, a rub. They like to rub these tamaracks. They're very aromatic and probably soft on the antlers. They definitely like to put their mark there, so pretty cool. We're about to pop open into another food plot, so let's get going. Okay, I'm into an area in my back 40 now. Tamarack Swamp down there. And this is just a natural opening. It looks like it's grass, hasn't been worked, and I have a really nice box blind. So I'm not convinced that's in the best location. Access getting here is a little tough. You kind of tend to blow out everything. But you know, maybe at certain times of the year, this buck sanctuary back here will be key, and maybe I'll plant some clover in here. I'm guessing it's probably pretty dry up on this hill, but maybe down below there, it's out of the wind a little bit, probably a little wetter. And that, from that stand to that corner, is probably about a 50-yard shot. So with a crossbow, it might be doable. Definitely with a rifle, it's doable. But that's the Taj Mahal. That's where I'm gonna put my dad, hopefully. Okay, well, no sheds today. Man, we walked a lot and we learned a lot about the property. And we didn't find any sheds, but boy, did we figure this place out. There are so many trails and routes in here, it's almost gonna be difficult to figure out where to go so you don't bump deer. But it's gonna be a good project, and I'm gonna show it to you guys over the years with these videos. So, hey, something to take note of, on June 3rd at 10 o'clock, we're gonna have a habitat day up here at Indian Creek Ranch, and I'm gonna invite you guys up to my farm here, and we are gonna discuss the management plan that Joe Bartilla had written for this place. We're gonna evaluate it. We're gonna walk around on the property and see some of the projects that before they get started. So it's gonna be the first opportunity to see this stuff as we transform this property. So I hope you'll come. I plan to provide lunch. It'll be a good day. So look for that as a Facebook announcement. But I'm going to sign off here. So thanks for watching. I'm Neil Hogg, our land specialist with Whitetail Properties Real Estate. You've been watching the Wisconsin Landman. Talk to you soon.